A method of fishing in which one or more hooks are attached to a fishing line to catch fish. Fishing gear usually has a simple structure but is equipped with fishing tools and hooks depending on the target fish species, and uses other types of bait besides live bait. It is classified into rod fishing, hand fishing and dragline fishing. Fishing with a fishing rod uses a fishing rod with a fishing line, a hook and a weight attached to the tip of the rod to target fish that swim near shallow water. Major industries include pole fishing for tuna, squid fishing and mackerel fishing, as well as recreational fishing from the shore and recreational fishing boats for surface and mid-layer fish such as sea bream, red sea, horse mackerel, grunt and rockfish. It targets many species of bottom-dwelling fish, such as scorpion fish, mudfish, redfish, flounder and flounder. Hand fishing is a method of fishing with fishing lines, hooks and sinkers without using a rod. The fishing line is held directly with bare hands to catch many different species, including red sea bream. Living in the water area is relatively deep. The target swimming classes are bottom fish species. Trolling is fishing for large migratory fish, tuna, marlin, etc. The stern of a boat with several long ropes from or on the water surface by dragging allows fishing in deep areas, areas with strong currents, areas with rocky reefs. Cannot be caught with fishing nets, and is also suitable for areas with low fish density. In addition, fly fishing attracts a lot of interest and is popular as a recreational activity because it targets many species of fish in all types of water bodies, including seas, rivers, lakes and swamps, as well as like the skill of a fisherman. Individual fishing techniques are clearly reflected in the results. In addition, fishing machines such as tuna fishing machines and squid fishing machines are also used for fishing with fishing rods. A method of fishing in which one or more hooks are attached to a single line to catch fish, and the opposite of a fishing method, which involves attaching multiple hooks to a long line. Pole fishing is one of the oldest fishing methods, and many bone and stone, salt, fish hooks have been found in ruins from the Jomon period, so it is certain that it was practiced. From this period, line fishing includes pole fishing, hand fishing, and dragline fishing. When fishing with a rod, the fishing line is attached to the tip of the rod and the hook is controlled, while when fishing by hand, the fishing line is held directly in the hand and manipulated. On the other hand, Seine fishing is a fishing method in which bait is moved at high speed by motorboats and the attractive fish species are targeted. The typical fishing method is pole fishing for skipjack tuna, using fish sticks with an initial thickness of 4 to 4.5 centimeters, a head length of 1.5 to 2.5 centimeters, and a long from 4.5 to 6 centimeters. M has a thread wrapped around the grip to prevent slipping. When I find a school of fish, I spread live bait of anchovies and sardines to stop the school, while watering and fishing. When the fish are addicted to eating and I catch a lot of fish, I use artificial hooks to catch them. Mackerel fishing is also an important pole fishery, but it has recently been replaced by Tamo spoon fishing. While pole fishing targets live fish species relative to the surface, hand fishing targets species that live relatively deep and have good value, such as sea bream, flounder and yellowtail. Drag is the most aggressive type of fishing in which the hook is dragged around and is used to target large fish that can swim, such as tuna, marlin, yellowtail, tuna, western mackerel, Spain and dolphins. The diving board is used to introduce the hook into the target swim layer. The quality of this diving board determines the catch. Fishing with a pole and rod requires skill and dexterity, but in recent years mechanical fishing machines such as tuna fishing machines and squid fishing machines have also appeared. Although there are large-scale angler fisheries far from the ocean, such as tuna and squid, the majority of fishing is done on the coast in small fishing boats. Although you cannot expect to catch as much as possible with a net, the equipment is simple and the catch is of such high quality, fish species, freshness, that it is expensive. In addition to fish species such as bream, Spanish mackerel, yellowtail, flounder, tilefish, pufferfish and grunts, target species include cephalopods such as Japanese squid, spear squid, and squid. Cyst, red squid, octopus and octopus. This is one of the important fishing methods. A method of fishing in which one to more hooks are attached to a single line. There are two methods of fishing: pole fishing, which involves attaching a line to a fishing rod and targeting fish in relatively shallow water, and hand fishing, including dragline fishing, which involves manipulating the fishing line by hand to target fish in deeper water. Most fishing vessels targeting freshwater fish use the former, while fishing vessels targeting saltwater fish typically use the latter. The typical fish for pole fishing is tuna, and the typical fish for ham fishing is sea bream. Fishing is a fishing method in which fishing gear is controlled, and each time it is caught on the hook, it is pulled up and caught. There are two types of fishing: pole fishing using a fishing rod and fishing by hand. Involves holding the fishing line in your hand. Fishing with rods for tuna, mackerel, squid is very popular, and automatic fishing machines are becoming increasingly popular, especially squid fishing. Source: Encyclopedia Britannica International Little Encyclopedia. Information about Encyclopedia Britannica International Little Encyclopedia. The only fishing methods include land fishing and boat fishing, but boat fishing is the main form of fishing. There is rod and line fishing for skipjack tuna, line fishing for mackerel, and line fishing for bream and bass. 3. Trawling fishing. This is a method of fishing in which the fishing line is pulled directly from the fishing boat, or the fishing rod is set up and the fishing line is attached to the bow of the boat and the boat is pulled around. When you think about fishing for skipjack tuna with a fishing rod, the image that comes to mind is a vivid scene of skipjack tuna fishing. However, contrary to this image, in reality the fishing industry is facing many different problems. The sashimi and dried tuna you eat every day are not only made from live tuna caught by our short-sea tuna fishing lines, but also from frozen tuna caught by deep-sea tuna fishing boats. Fish, as well as fresh tuna from inshore seine vessels that catch large quantities of fish. We have frozen tuna from purse seine vessels abroad. According to 2008 fishing statistics, Japan's total catch of skipjack tuna was about 304,000 tons, of which 115,000 tons, or only 38%, were caught by pole and line fishing vessels, the majority of which were caught by fishing rods. Caught with seine nets. In seine fishing, most of the fish are caught at one time, while pole fishing only catches the most willing bonito in the school, so it can be said that this is an individual fishing method. Love for nature. Many people fear that skipjack tuna stocks are decreasing due to the large amount of fishing done by purse seine vessels. In fact, in the field, individual herds are getting smaller and the chances of even encountering one are decreasing. So we, the fishermen engaged in rod and line tuna fishing across the country, have implemented voluntary regulations since 2008 to limit the total catch to 50,000 tons or less. To prevent resource depletion as much as possible, and to ensure that nature-friendly rod and line fishing continues. We are protecting tuna resources by doing this. Instead of unilaterally criticizing seine fishing, we, as fellow fishermen, believe that seine boats are also necessary. Ensuring a steady supply of bluefin tuna requires more than just fishing with a fishing pole. I hope that purse seine and pole fishing can exist together. As mentioned earlier, in response to dwindling skipjack tuna stocks, traditional human-based fishing methods will not be sustainable, even if boaters and crews can how talented. Various costs are required, including the purchase of various expensive equipment such as sonar, seabird radar and tidal current gauges to compensate for the decline in catch, as well as capital investment and maintenance to improve ship performance. Additionally, last year we saw an unexpected increase in fuel costs due to rising oil prices. In addition, prices have decreased due to the large volume of fish caught by seine nets and increased imports. Many pole fishing vessels are currently facing a survival crisis. As you can see, the environment surrounding our tuna fishing industry is extremely harsh. However, we must preserve Japan's traditional fishing industry for future generations and protect its resources. We sincerely hope that we can provide a steady supply of the finest tuna, caught individually with care, and that as many people as possible can enjoy the truly delicious taste of the fish. Fishing for tuna with a fishing rod is fun. Although an environmentally friendly method of fishing, it is a struggle. One of Japan's traditional fishing techniques is tuna fishing, in which fishermen on fishing boats use fishing rods to catch individual fish. In some cases, fish have achieved MSC certification, which is evidence of sustainable fishing practices. However, it is thought that the market is being overtaken by cheaper tuna from countries such as South Korea. The key to its revival is the understanding and support of retailers and consumers. The pole fishing method, in which skipjack tuna are caught one by one as if they were flying out of the water, is so famous throughout the country that it was even made into a movie called Tosa Pole and Suri, starring Yoshiko Tanaka, 1980. Some people insist that the famous Bonito Tataki must be caught by fishing with a fishing rod. In fact, this is also a good fishing method for aquatic resources. This is because fishing methods such as Sen nets kill all the fish at once, causing concerns about bycatch and overfishing, while also catching juvenile fish. Pole fishing minimizes the impact on the ecosystem by returning unwanted fish to the sea without harming them. However, due to high capacity and efficient Sen fishing in Korea and Japan, pole fishing is in decline nationwide. Over the past 30 years, the number of boats catching frozen tuna for sashimi has dropped from 100 to 25, and the number of boats catching fresh tuna in nearby waters has dropped from 300 to 70. There are no penalties for falsifying fishing methods. Hiroyuki Myojin, president of Tosa Katsuo Susan, Kuroshio Town, Kochi Prefecture, which sells tuna caught with traditional fishing rods, received the International Marine Ecological Label MSC certification in November 2019. 2009 to prove that this method is genuine fishing with a fishing rod. On December 13 this year, they also received the Inland Fisheries certification Marine Ecological Label. When we hear about tuna fishermen, we often imagine that they can make a lot of money in one fishing trip, but on deep-sea fishing boats, they have to go on long journeys to catch fish. Catch fish. Tuna fishing makes sense if you are aiming for a high income, as you can earn a higher monthly salary than working as a new graduate of a company. Annual income is higher than the average for office workers. In fact, the average monthly income of those who make money from tuna fishing is about 300,000 yen, even for those in their 20s to 30s, higher than being a regular employee of a company. Additionally, the longer you work, the more money you make. Even if you work as a normal crew member, the relatively high salary is also very attractive. If you want to earn more than the average annual salary of a new graduate, you might consider becoming a tuna fisherman and finding work. Tuna fishermen have positions such as captain, chief engineer, and head of fisheries department. Of course, this position requires experience and a proven track record, so there is no guarantee that you will be able to become one if you continue working in tuna fishing. However, if you hold a position, your annual salary tends to be higher. Can earn a high income of over 10 million yen. Tuna fishing is becoming popular as a job that can bring in relatively high income, although annual earnings vary depending on the fishing season. The work environment is tough and it can take more than a year at sea, but the job is well. In fact, pole fishing is not the main way to catch tuna. You will not be able to catch a large number of fish if you fish with a fishing rod and line. To catch cheap tuna, people fish using many different fishing methods. There are 4 main ways to catch tuna. There are 4 types of fishing: rod and line fishing, net fishing, sen fishing and longline fishing. I will tell you the characteristics of each type. Fishing with fishing rod and line. Speaking of OMA, this is the fishing method. If the fish are big, you will have to return to port one by one. Here is the most time-consuming method. Of course, the more time and effort you put in, the better the product will be. Most of the bluefin tuna distributed in our country comes from this fishing method. You can aim for a reasonable catch without doing much harm to the fish. The net is spread out, and as the fish follow the net, they eventually get caught in the bag-like net. Sen net. This fishing method has become a problem in recent years. When a school of fish is discovered, people use speedboats to pull the net in. Trap schools of fish in nets. Due to the submersion process, the surface of the tuna is abraded and tuna often has many scratches inside. In addition, juvenile fish are often caught. This fishing method causes damage to the ecosystem. By the way, this is a fishing method that tends to enter a deflationary spiral as large numbers are caught again due to poor post-fishing handling and market prices do not increase. Long line. It's like a mass catch version of fly fishing. This method includes attaching a total of 2,000 hooks to ropes and fishing while the boat is running. It seems to take about 20 hours from the time the strings are inserted until frying. This is the fishing method commonly used to catch Indian tuna, southern bluefin tuna, in the Indian Ocean and Australia. The average annual income of fishermen varies widely depending on the type of fishing, region, season, etc., and ranges from 2 million yen to over 10 million yen. When you hear the word fisherman, what you often imagine is the image of people fishing in the neighborhood and returning home for the day. The average annual income of small-scale fishermen in the nearby fishing grounds is estimated at 2 to 3 million yen. Just catch a tuna on a fishing boat like you see on TV. If you use this fishing method, your annual income will skyrocket. How much does a retired fisherman earn? Explanation of income sources, forms of income and suitable subjects to Campus Migration Magazine, University of Migrant Life. First, let's look at the average annual income by fishery and type of fish. As you can see above, there are large differences in annual income depending on fishing method. Furthermore, some fishing methods easily exceed the average annual income of office workers. Next, we will single out some profitable fishing methods and explain them in detail. How much does a retired fisherman earn? Explanation of income sources, forms of income and suitable subjects to Campus Migration Magazine, University of Migrant Life. From the table above, crab and tuna fishing tends to bring in very high annual income. Tuna fishing and crab fishing are both deep-sea fisheries, and the annual income ranges from 6.5 million yen to 15 million yen. Tuna fishing is a near-sea to deep-sea fishing industry, while crab fishing is the main deep-sea fishing industry. The annual income from deep-sea fishing tends to be higher. The reason is because they can go fishing without returning home. In addition, fishing in the middle of the ocean is also very strenuous because you have to work under cold and fierce waves. Tuna fishing lasts about a month, while crab fishing at sea takes about 2 to 3 months. Since you will be away from home for a long time, you will definitely have less time to spend with your family, so if you're serious about this, you need to have a family meeting and think about it. Careful, one thing not to miss when quitting your job. Salaries on fishing boats, tuna and crab fishing, a high exclamation question mark introducing annual income and 5 fisheries where you can make money. I learned that inshore and offshore fishing tends to bring in high annual income because it requires being out at sea for relatively long periods of time and in harsh conditions.
パッと見えてそのぐらいの種類が一気に上がってるんで、これをまず種類ごとに分けます。種類ごとに、種類以外にも見ることあるんですか？